Finally back. I forgot my YouTube password. Okay, let's do this before my CPU melts. Okay, so first I'm going through this melody. Bro, please don't crash on me. Okay, so first I started with Analog Lab. I used a random sound from this Shadow Bang by HZ, and then I came up with the random 1-5 chord progression. As you can see, we have like almost the identical pattern here. So basically I first made this melody, then I copied it here, and then I just downshifted it 5 semitones down. We have the same shit repeating here. For the effects, I first used the Fruity EQ, removing some low end and some of that clickiness you can hear in the high end. Next up, I use this chorus to widen up the sound. Then I use the limiter just to reduce some peaks. And lastly, some Sooth to remove the muddy low end. Okay, next thing I used is this random pad, which is from ATL Culture Trilogy by Trifreeze. So I just lay down one note and it sounds like this. For the effects, I just used some EQ to clean up the sound and Sooth again to remove some muddy low end. Then as you can see here, I tend to use a lot of phrases and accents from other kits because I'm lazy. Sometimes they just spike the creativity to make the rest of the beat. And as you can see here, sometimes I just make my own phrase out of the phrase or accent that I already used in the beat. Sometimes I will even use the same accent twice, but like just play with the pitch. And here's the example of that. For most of these phrases, I just use like EQ to clean up the sound. Maybe I use Portal or Thermal or something to like spice up the sound, but mostly I keep them clean. Okay, I know I'm going all over the place right now, but for example, this next phrase that I made, I used this phrase. And then I just reversed it, put a bunch of reverb on and some EQing, and I just came up with my own accent here. Here, I really can't give you an explanation on building a Travis Scott beat based on these. You have to go by ear and just use what you think suits the best. I also used a bunch of sounds from Drum Demon 3 multi-kit. I'm pretty sure this vocal is from that exact bang. Here, for example, I layered a bunch of effects. First, I used some multi-band compression. Then some EQ to make like an underwater effect. Then some RC20, but just for some saturation. Then some chorus effect for some widening. Then I use stock Fruity Panomatic to make the vocal go like left and right. And lastly, Sooth again to reduce the muddiness of the vocal. Here again, I just used a random phrase I found in a random multi-kit. Here when I stretch out, you can see the original sample. So then what I did is like cut it and use just a specific part of it. And then here I took 2 of them, I pasted them here, then I made them unique by going here and clicking on make unique. This allows me to change the pitch of this sound without changing the pitch of the previous 2 ones. And I made it sound like this. I changed it 5 semitones down so that it goes with my 1/5 chord progression. For the effects, I used some EQing, some multi-band compression, soothe for removing the muddiness, delay to get some widening, and some reverb to make it more spacious. This is before the effects. And this is after the effects. Okay, so maybe you think now I demolished this sound, but trust me, every time I layer a bunch of effects, I do them while listening to the rest of the melody so that the accent actually suits the rest of the beat. Okay, then we're going on our sub bass, which I think carries the whole melody, honestly. Here we have the same pattern repeating 2 times. I just put a nice octave here at the end. So how did I come up with this pattern? So what I did is I took our root notes from the original chord progression. Okay, for now, ignore these down here. So this is what we have now. Okay, and then what I do is just I stick to the scale, which you can see highlighted here with like more wider spaces. And I would just do random chops like this. So just focus on this. And here again, just the whole melody. Okay, you probably now heard this perk here. Don't worry, I'm gonna show later how I made this. It's actually pretty easy. But for now, we're gonna go on our drums. So the drum patterns are actually really simple. It's just like the sound selection that's really important. So here I use this rim. Here I added 1 extra rim and I play with the velocity. For the effects, EQ to clean up the sound. Then I use this old school sounding open hat. I pitched it 12 semitones down. Then next I use this kick and I made this pattern. For the effects, I just used the capitator to like saturate it a little bit more. Next, we have this hi-hat. And down here, you can see I just put the velocity down of every second hi-hat, so it gives it that bounce. Then I use this perk / open hat. And I just put it on every second snare. And I use no effects here. And again, just 1 more perk at the beginning of the drum pattern. And here, again, everything together. And now here I'm gonna show you how I made this perk using these drums. So what I did is took all these drums and I put it in a single bus right here. You can do that by grouping them. You go down here, press right click and select route to this track only. Now when I play drums, whatever effect I put on this track here, it's gonna affect all the drums together. So for this effect, first I use a bunch of saturation like this. Then I use regular Fruity EQ and make a shape like this. And lastly, my secret sauce, I use the Fruity Stereo Shaper and just turn delay on one side. This like really widens up the sound and makes it really percussive. And here's the whole beat again.